Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 1415. Today on Cars Yeah, I'm celebrating the second annual Cigar City Concours d'Elegance that takes place November 9th and 10th at the Tampa Bay Downs horse racing track. If you want to learn more, go to cigarcityconcours.com.
What I wake up to and try to live up to every morning, carpe diem.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hey Cars Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Covercraft. I've protected my vehicles with their products for decades. Want to keep your vehicle's interior looking new? It's easy with Covercraft seat covers. They'll protect your seats from the daily abuse of pets, children, weekend adventures, and even those everyday spills. It's a fast, easy, and inexpensive way to keep your vehicle looking new. All Covercraft seat covers are easy on, easy off design that are machine washable. You can choose from many fabric options, colors, and accessories, all designed and carefully sewn for your special vehicles. Their seat gloves are semi-custom fit for cars and trucks, and their seat savers, a favorite of mine, are custom tailored to fit your seats like a glove. Work truck seat covers are tough, durable, denim weight fabric. It's like putting a pair of rugged jeans on your truck's seats. Want to stay warm? Covercraft also offers seat heaters. Covercraft is the right choice. Learn more today at covercraft.com and tell them Mark at Cars Yeah sent you. That's covercraft.com. My favorite collector car magazine is Keith Martin's Sports Car Market. I've been a subscriber for decades. Sports Car Market is the Wall Street Journal for the enthusiast and the collector. It's your monthly must-read whether you dream of owning a collector car, have 2 cars, or 200. Sports Car Market has been around for 31 years, and it's filled with valuable articles, intelligent write-ups, and the latest auction sales. Go to sportscarmarket.com and subscribe today. Plus, you'll get the exclusive SCM guide to restoration shops included for free. At checkout, use the code CARSYEAH and receive a 50% discount on your digital subscription. It's an exclusive offer from me here at Cars Yeah. I'm Mark Green, and I love Sports Car Market magazine. Hello, automotive enthusiasts. I'm revved up and so excited to introduce today's very special returning guest calling in from Odessa, Florida, Vic Piano. Vic, are you buckled up and ready for a fun ride?
You got it, Mark. I am strapped in and ready to go.
All right, I'll try to keep it on the road between the guardrails here. Vic Piano is the founder of the Cigar City Concours d'Elegance, now in its second year. His life has been all things automotive. It started with his launch of an automotive publication titled Part Finder way back in 1975. In 1980, he produced, directed, and syndicated the International Show Car Association for television. That same year, he also produced and syndicated the Watkins Glenn Grand Prix and the 1981 Long Beach Grand Prix. Vic went on to produce SCORE off-road world championships and numerous NASCAR events, including the Charlotte 600. He founded many antique automobile clubs, tours, driving events, and much, much more. This year's Cigar City Concours d'Elegance will be held at their new venue, Tampa Bay Downs horse racing track. So, Vic, I have told our listeners just a little bit about you. I'm having you back here so that we can share a lot more about this event and this new venue. We're going to touch on all that. But first, maybe you could share a little quote or inspirational mantra with us. How does that sound?
That's great, Mark. I'll have to share what I wake up to and try to live up to every morning, carpe diem.
Ah, I love it. I love it. What does that mean for you when you wake up every morning?
Oh, it means that I have got to climb that mountain every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I had a great guest on the show. Actually, he's a 3-time guest, Dwight T. Knowlton. He has a company that he kind of did a twist on that, Carpe Diem, seize the road, which is perfect for us car guys. But I would imagine seizing the day, that great Latin quote that I learned back in 7th grade Latin class, Mrs. Lorna Shade. Oh my gosh. How could I remember that? How could I forget that class? I would sit in there going, why am I in Latin class? I'm in La Jolla, California. I should be learning Spanish. But at any rate, it did help me understand some things later on the SAT. So I think it was not all lost. Well, I would like to start by talking a little bit about this new location because you guys have moved your venue to a new location this year. What steered your decision to move to the Tampa Bay Downs?
Well, last year, our original location was a golf course on Tampa's west coast overlooking the Gulf of Mexico, but we ran into some logistical problems there and were forced to move basically in the 11th hour, and we put it over at Starkey Ranch, which is an absolutely gorgeous venue but has no protections for the event. So we could not cordon the area off. We had virtually no control of traffic flow, both pedestrian and automotive. So even though the event was a success, we had 307 vehicles on the field, 80 of which were concourse judged vehicles. It presented too many logistical problems for us to continue it there. And so I went to Tampa Bay Downs because they have everything that the original venue had and more. They have control of the area. They have a fully paved parking lot for patrons that come to the event. They have a beautiful, beautiful display area. They have all of the licenses to sell and serve food and adult beverages. So it was basically a no-brainer for me to move the event over there, and they have been extremely helpful in letting us get everything together for the event. So I'm looking forward to it. We're just a few weeks away from it, so
yeah.
It's
coming up.
Exciting and stressful.
It's coming down fast. You know, that's the one thing when people think about, let's put on a car show, let's put on a Concours. That sounds like so much fun. There's so many logistics involved. When you look at car shows, lots of times they're held at golf courses, and you think, how do you control the venue? I mean, even at Pebble Beach, it's somewhat controlled, but there's still avenues for people, let's say, to sneak in or wander in or whatever they might do. And of course, you got to charge for these events because they're very costly to put on. But it sounds like you found a great new venue and everything, the infrastructure's there and all that. I'm trying to think if I know of any other car shows, Concours events that are at racetracks. Do you?
Well, actually, Keeneland is
okay.
The racetrack. Yes, in fact, that's what gave me the idea. I had been invited up to Keeneland last year, and I looked around, and I have a long association with thoroughbred racetracks from the television industry. So, you know, I'm well aware of what they do and how they do it, and so I think maybe it will be a good idea. And it turned out that it's all conjecture at this point because the event hasn't taken place, but I think that that's going to be fairly a permanent facility for us going forward.
Yeah, well, you're bringing the new idea of horsepower to the horse racing track. Lots of more horsepower. So
exactly right, Mark. I'm promoting it as a different kind of horsepower wrapped in steel chariots.
There you go. I love it.
And a couple of fiberglass and aluminum ones, too.
As well. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk about cars in a minute. But first, I want to talk about a really important part of many, many Concours events and car events, even car and coffee events. But in this case, an important part of Cigar City Concours d'Elegance are your charities. So tell our listeners a little bit about the charities that you've chosen and why you've chosen these charities and the good things that you'll be doing for them.
Okay, Mark. Well, we have 4 different charities that we support. One being Toys for Tots, because we're so close to the Christmas holiday. Last year, what we do is we do not charge the participants a registration fee. We ask that in lieu of that, they bring an unwrapped toy for Toys for Tots. Last year, we had over 400 toys. We have another local charity, which is Big Cat Rescue, and they basically rescue exotic animals from captivity. And, from drug lords and zoos that aren't really up to snuff and that sort of thing. They do a tremendous job. The other 2 charities are military-related charities. One is called Troop Rewards, and what they basically do is, and I'm not sure about their selection criteria, but they will take guys returning from being deployed overseas. They will select them, take them and their entire immediate family, and give them a 1-week R&R at a 5-star resort.
Wow, nice.
I know when I came back from overseas, all I got was kicked out of Fort Dix and said, "Time for you to go home."
Yeah, see you later, chump. Thanks for your help. Oh God, well, thanks for your service, by the way. I want to throw that in there. I didn't realize you'd been in the military. What branch did you serve in?
I was drafted in the Army in 1969.
Ah, okay.
Not giving away my age. I know I only look like I'm 35.
Well, you've done a nice job with yourself. Thank you.
Well, thanks. And the last one that we have is called Mission Restore Bronze. And the gentleman who set that up, Tom Pollock, he invented a wax that actually restores the tarnished bronze portions of grave markers, statues, and such for the military, and he does it all on a charitable basis. But he found out by accident that the wax that he had created, not only does it clean bronze, but it cleans and preserves rubber, in particular white wall tires. And you know that 99% of the vehicles at Concours events are running wide white wall tires, myself included. So I told him, I said, you need to be at this event and you need to sell as much product as you can, and it will all go to your charitable exercise.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I'll make sure that we put some links on the show notes page I create on the Cars Yeah website for Vic for all these charities, so that even if you can't attend the event, you could go learn about them. Hopefully donate a little bit to them to help out. I know Toys for Tots is all over the country, so you can go to local Toys for Tots where they're raising or gathering toys for the holiday season for young kids, which is a great, great thing. Well, let's talk a little bit about the featured marks and special classes you have this year. I know that we'll start with Cadillac because that's a featured mark that you're going to have. Then have you kind of walk through the different classes that you got, because you got some really, really interesting and unique and eclectic classes. But let's start with Cadillac. Why Cadillac?
Well, last year we did, in our inaugural, we did Lincoln, Zephyr, and Continental. And it was somewhat selfishly motivated because I have Lincoln, Zephyrs, and Continentals. And so I did it for that reason. This year, I wanted to do it again and keep it, in the high-end American marks that are still around today, with the exception of LaSalle. But Cadillac is, it's the standard of the world in terms of automotive. So we wanted to promote them, but we are getting away basically from selecting specific marks because Cadillacs are relatively abundant. LaSalle's not so much. We'll have a field filled with Cadillacs from the 40s through the 70s. I have not been successful in acquiring LaSalles that have not been modified. I did not want to put a 1940 LaSalle on the field that's powered by a 350 Chevy with a 350 automatic. So we stayed away from that. We do, however, have a class for survivor cars. We have a class, we're calling it, we called it last year Cigars and Cars. This year, we tried a little something different. We're calling it Field of Dreams. And that's for exotics that are newer cars. And then we also have an exotics class in the concourse, which has a different criteria in terms of age. That's what that is. So as much as I love LaSalle's, I have been unsuccessful in securing any that are original or are survivors. So I didn't want to put LaSalle, I hate the term street rods, but I didn't want to put them out on the concourse field. But the other car classes that we have, when we do it by decade, is 1900 to 1920, the horseless carriages. Then 1921 to 1940, the Deco era. 41 to 60, we call that the supersonic age. And 61 to 80, I'm referring to that as the ball of confusion.
The ball of confusion. Now that's an interesting title. Yeah, what's the reason behind this one?
My reason for that is that from 1960 through 1980, Detroit was at odds with themselves. They were building behemoths, they were building compacts, they were building subcompacts, they were building muscle cars, and vans, and they tried to satisfy every part of the market for automobiles, and they really didn't do any of them that well. So, and I call that the ball of confusion because there's a Motown rock group, which I will not name, that had a great song called Ball of Confusion. That would work for that. And then we also have 32 to 55 period correct hot rods and customs. We have 55 to 75 period correct muscle cars, and pre- and post-war foreign sports and touring cars. And the last one that we just recently added is a survivor class, because not every interesting automobile is concourse quality or a museum piece, but they still deserve recognition and appreciation.
Well, of course, we've seen a big push for preservation, survivor cars, in the past years. Especially, I've had some guests on the show here. Paul Hageman is a good example, and his father, Peter, who are really into the idea of preservation vehicles, unrestored cars that have been cared for. Sometimes I get a little disappointed because I see cars that are called preservation cars, and it looks like they haven't been loved at all. And I'm like, well, you're just going to park a car in a barn and let it rot. I'm not so sure I would call that a survivor. It's just, I guess it has survived in some ways, but I like cars that people have taken care of and enjoyed. It's okay if a little paint's rubbed off here and there, and maybe they're used and there's some what I call memory marks instead of flaws. But it sounds like a wonderful group of cars, lots of different cars. How many cars can we expect to see in the lawn here at Cigar City?
Well, now this year we have changed our attitude toward the cars as well. Last year, as I said, we had 307 cars, 80 of which were concourse judged. This year, I'm going for quality over quantity. So the cars that we have listed in the concourse, we will have close to probably 55, maybe even 60 concourse judged vehicles. On the other side, what we're calling now this year the Field of Dreams, I'm still not sure because those guys keep coming in on a daily basis. So that will be, we'll have the two shows just like we did last year. They'll both share the concourse field, but they'll be separated by, I don't know how we're going to separate them this year. Last year we did it with vendors' tents and all, but this year I have a completely separate area for all the vendors. So the cars will be unto themselves on the show field, and the vendors will be in a separate location.
There we go. Sounds cool. Well, putting on concours events is no easy task. What have been some of your biggest challenges this year with this event? We talked a little bit about finding the new venue. I think that's going to work out pretty well, but just so people think of, car shows are so easy to put together. They are not easy. There's nothing easy. I don't even know how you have a calm voice right now, but what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced this year in putting this event together?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the biggest challenges is because it's a relatively new event. Last year was our first year, as you know, and I think it was a very successful event in terms of the vehicles and the caliber of vehicles that we were able to put on the show field. One of our biggest problems is the date that we have selected, and originally it was selected by the intended venue for last year. So it's on Veterans Day weekend, and there are a number of events that take place on that particular weekend. So that's a logistical problem in terms of getting people here and all. The other problem I'm having is that I've got some exotic car dealerships who have purchased sponsorships for the event, but they're not comfortable leaving a vehicle overnight, even though we will have full police protection and security. So they want to bring them in on Sunday morning. I said, well, Sunday morning, the event opens to the public at 10 a.m. So if you can have your cars in place in their predetermined location by 9 o'clock, that's not a problem for me. But everybody they want to put themselves first. And I try to be as diplomatic as I possibly can, but I have to be concerned about every aspect of it. I have to be concerned about the vehicles, the vendors, the paying public. So it's a monumental task. I'm not sure I'm up to it, but I did it last year. So this year, my wife looked at me and said, you really need to do this again because it was a great event last year. I said, yes, I am more than willing to do it. The other problem that I have run into, had the same situation last year, is getting people to volunteer to help. And it's a difficult task, and then it's akin to trying to herd cats. You're trying to get people to volunteer, and you appreciate the fact that they want to help and volunteer, but it's virtually impossible to corral them and say, okay, these are the criteria. This is what you have to follow. This is how you deal with these different situations. And then it's anybody's guess where it goes from there. But I think because of the new venue and our ability to have much greater control in terms of automobiles and crowd control, it will work out much, much better. And I believe that this year will be better. I kind of wish that this year was our first year instead of last year.
Well, every year is a learning experience. Every year you get a little bit better and grow a little bit more and learn some things. So we wish you the absolute best for a successful event. Let's take a minute out and thank our sponsors here at Cars Yeah that make this show possible. When you want proven performance, there's one brand that's been around since 1938. That's Edelbrock, building the finest American-made performance products for the street and track. Edelbrock's products are designed and dyno-proven to deliver maximum results. Edelbrock has thousands of made-in-the-USA performance products for all makes and models. From their new AVS2 carburetor and innovative ProFlow 4 EFI for your muscle car or truck, to superchargers for your daily driver and more, visit Edelbrock.com to check out the latest products for your ride. And when you're ready to check out, enter Cars Yeah in the coupon code and get 10% off your order. That's Edelbrock, automotive performance since 1938. You take care of your cars, but who takes care of your investments? Tune-ups aren't just for engines. Updating your financial plan is important too. Your GPS may take you from A to B, but it won't help you on the road to financial freedom. For that, you need a good co-pilot and a very trusted advisor. Chris Kimball, CFP, is just the man for the job. He'll guide you down that road without driving you crazy. For over 25 years, Chris has helped people just like you and me with their financial planning and investments. With a master's degree in financial services, he is eminently qualified. And he's a car guy, too. Learn more at chrisvkimball.com or call 866-ON-A-PLAN. Securities through Money Concepts Capital Corp. Member FINRA SIPC. CK Financial Services is not affiliated with Money Concepts Capital Corp. Are you looking for a way to get your products or services into the ears of thousands of automotive enthusiasts around the globe? I can help. This is Mark Green here at Cars Yeah, and I'd be honored to be an influencer and ambassador for your brand in a unique and personal way. 5 days a week, thousands of subscribers and listeners enjoy the Cars Yeah podcast and website. Contact me today and I'll show you how at mark@carsyeah.com or connect with me through the Cars Yeah website at carsyeah.com. All right, Vic, we are back. What are some other things that visitors to your area might expect to see and like to enjoy for people coming to the area that might be new to that part of the world?
Well, we are in Tampa Bay, which is probably home to, if not the best, the second best beaches on the planet. November is the perfect time to be in Florida because it's not too hot, it's not too cold, and hopefully it won't be raining.
Yeah, well, we won't even say that word.
The rainy season is supposedly over now, so we'll see. Last year we had magnificent weather. I hope we have a repeat of that this year. I've asked the gods up above to shine down upon us, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be fantastic. What are a couple words of advice you might offer somebody who's attending the Concours? Lots of times there'll be new people coming to Concours. They've never been to a Concours before, and they're not quite sure what to do, what to expect. What are some of the words of wisdom you might offer somebody attending this event?
Well, I would say to get here early and be prepared to enjoy a day filled with magnificent automobiles. We will have full complement of food and beverages, including adult beverages, available for purchase at the event. The racetrack is there, so if you are so inclined, you feel like going in and placing a bet on a horse race that's coming in from somewhere else, because Tampa Bay Downs is in hiatus while we're there. They open up 3 weeks after our event, but they're open for pari-mutuel. They have a poker room. They have all kinds of great stuff. And a stone's throw from the event, there's all kinds of great things to do in Tampa Bay. You can stay in Tampa Bay, go visit the sponge docks. You can go down to Tampa. You can take a ride and go down to Sarasota, where I was just there 2 weeks ago for their exotic car show, and we have several of them coming up to be in our event. So there are unlimited opportunities for enjoyment in Tampa Bay.
Absolutely. Vic, what has you the most excited about this year's event? I know at this point everything's kind of crazy. It's all coming down fast. We got the natural Venturi effect as the time squeeze starts to kind of press in from all different sides. But what has you most excited when you can take a moment, take a breath, and go, wow, I can't wait for...
Well, I'll tell you, I was invited to go up to the New York Concours, it was their first year, and it was 2 weeks ago, and they did one outstanding job there, to be commended. I mean, the logistical problems they faced are far greater than what I have, but the woman who put it on, when she found out about my event, she said, great, I'm coming to Tampa. And we have a ton of people who, it's like a who's who in the classic car collector's hobby, that will be coming to the event as spectators and as participants as well. So for that, I am extremely pleased. Last year, the marketing and promotion that we did got us in front of established concourse events and some new concourse events. And so we've had a boost from all of them. And it's a great community because they all want to see everybody succeed, rather than look at you and go, well, I don't want you to be successful because then it detracts from my event. So it's a great community. There's lots of camaraderie, and I am very pleased that I've been accepted into that community.
Absolutely. And of course, no Concours would be complete without the judges. You've got a great group of judges this year, right?
We do. In fact, well, he's not a judge, but Mr. Joe Pep, who I know that you're aware of, Joe is going to be serving as our master of ceremonies. Our chief judge is a gentleman named Sergio Fernandez. Sergio has been a major judge at Corvette events. Sergio has a business called VetWorks. He also has the distinction of having restored the two highest bid Corvettes in the history of the Corvette at the auctions. And Sergio, he's a great guy. Sandy Cotterman has signed on as a judge, and she's judged events like the Greenwich Concours, Radnor Hunt, the Atlanta, and Boca, for example. Then Sean Matthews. Sean is the founder of Miles Through Time Museum that has been in Toccoa, Georgia. He's actually moving it to a much larger location now. So he's coming down to judge. A local friend of mine, Dan Burek, who has been a fabricator and builder of magnificent hot rods and resto rods, and also pure restoration. So Dan's got a lifetime of automotive experience. Robert Malik, who's a local radio host and appraiser for classic antique cars, he is going to be judging our survivors class. And then another friend of mine, Andy Powell, who's a 35-year veteran of General Motors and a classic car enthusiast. I've known Andy for 20, 25 years, and he's a big Chevrolet fan, so we always butt heads on that.
Well, there's always fun rivalries, right?
Yes. And then the one that I am most excited about is Lily Prey. Lily is coming down to be a judge. She has judged for over 15 years, and events like Hilton Head, Radnor Hunt, the Elegance at Hershey, the Atlanta Concours, and most recently, the New York Concours. And I have to thank her publicly. She invited me to come up and get a car out of her father's museum that they had requested at the New York Concours. It was a 1940 Lincoln Zephyr Continental Cabriolet, which has been my dream car since I'm 5 or 6 years old. And Lily knows that I have the 39 Lincoln Zephyr Convertible Club Coupe, and under the skin, they're identical cars. So we went up. A friend of mine came with me, Mike Thompson, who is our field marshal, I call him. He's in charge of placement of all the vehicles on the field. He and I went up, and in about an hour and a half, we got this Lincoln that had been restfully sleeping in its museum slot for about 5 years, fired up, drove it out, and drove it down the road on a test run, to which we promptly ran out of gas. So,
well, this sounds like a great group of people, and I'll let our listeners know this entire week I'll be promoting the Cigar City Concours, and many of these names that Vic has shared are going to be guests on the show this week. Of course, Joe Pepp's been on the show before a couple times. In fact, for the regular listeners here, he actually played Santa Claus one year on my Christmas Day show, which was kind of fun. So Joe will be back. I'm going to have Lily on the show and several other the names that you've shared today. Excited to share all these people and Cigar City Concours d'Elegance Cars Yeah listeners. Vic, we are up to the checkered flag here. I know you have a lot to do and you got to get back to work, my friend. But before you do, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked you last time on the show here. And I'm going to see if your wishes have changed a little bit. I'm going to buy you any cool collector car on the planet. Doesn't matter where it is or who owns it. I'm going to park it in your garage or on your lawn there at your Concours. But there are some rules to this game that make it a little bit of a challenge. One is you can't sell it to buy a bunch of other toys with. You have to drive it. No garage queens allowed around here. And it's the only collector car you can own. So let's see if your mind has changed a bit from a little over a year ago when you were a guest on the show. Guest number, I think, 950, something like that. So
it has, Mark, and I will tell you when it changed.
Okay.
It changed last week when I slid behind the wheel of that 40 Lincoln Zephyr Continental.
Oh.
There is absolutely nothing that I have ever driven or owned that compares to that car. So my dream car from when the time I was a little kid up till now, and I was able to actually experience it, is the 1940 Lincoln Zephyr Continental Cabriolet.
Oh, well, you're still in the convertible realm, so I think that's pretty good. But those listeners that heard your show when you were on the show a little over a year ago, it was a 39. So you moved up in time a little bit here.
Well, I have the 39. I have the 39 Lincoln Zephyr Convertible Club Coupe, which I absolutely love, and I've been slowly restoring that. And a lot of people say to me, well, when are you going to finish it? I said, I have no idea when I'm going to finish. It is so much fun to drive that I haven't finished it. And when I get a car, an antique car, the very first thing that I restore is the dashboard. And people ask me why. I said, well, because when I'm going down the road, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah. You want something that will inspire you to continue that restoration. Well, very nice, Vic, and you've taken us on another great ride today here on Cars Yeah. I want to thank you for taking some time out of what is a very busy time for you coming up with the Concours. Thanks for sharing some news with us of what people can expect to see at this year's Cigar City Concours d'Elegance. Is there a little parting piece of wisdom or guidance you might offer us as you drive off into the sunset this year in a 1940 Zephyr Lincoln Continental Cabriolet?
Well, Mark, all I can say is that I really appreciate your help and support, and I would like to have you as my guest at the 3rd annual Cigar City Concours d'Elegance here in Tampa
Well,
Bay.
I'm gonna work on that. Yeah, I think as I told you, my daughter's getting married here soon. I'm on lockdown. I've been told I can't go anywhere until this wedding gets done. Oh my gosh! If you think a restoration costs a lot of money,
Oh, hey, please. I know. Well, my daughter got married several years ago, and I'm now the proud grandparent of 3 little ones.
Well, congratulations. I hope I am blessed with something like that. I think it's going to be fantastic, but I do wish you the best. And again, what's the best way for our listeners to learn more about your event?
Well, they can go on their website, which is cigarcityconcours.com, and check it out. Everything is up there. We have not put the ticket sales up there yet because last year my experience was we did not sell 89 to 90% of our tickets prior to 2 weeks before the event, and then we sold a significant number of walk-ups at the event. So we haven't put that up yet. I've been promoting it on social media, and it'll probably go up, I would say midweek this coming week. So I want, if they are fraught with anticipation, they can actually walk up to the event, to the gate, and purchase a ticket right then and there. And we certainly hope they support the event. I'm trying to make this a major event in Tampa Bay in terms of automotive event.
There you go.
We're doing everything we can to make it an outstanding event.
Absolutely. Well, listeners, again, you can learn a lot more about this on Vic Piano's show notes page. If you missed my first talk with him, you'll find that on the Cars Yeah website. Just type his name. He's the only Vic Piano on the show here. Got to say that with a nice accent. Do it the right way. You can listen to his first show, and you can go and enjoy all the connections and interesting things he shared with us on his show notes page with quick, easy links. Vic, thanks for being so generous today with your time and expertise and for sharing your show, the second annual Cigar City Concours d'Elegance, with us. Until I talk to you again, we'll all see you at the Cigar City Concours.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Hey, Mark Green here from Cars Yeah. Did you know you can now see me on the Cars Yeah TV show? It's a weekly visit to some of my past Cars Yeah podcast guests, and I take you along for the ride. You go behind the garage door and into their lives, their businesses, and you get to see what makes them successful. With tens of millions of viewers, Cars Yeah TV is making its mark. Cars Yeah TV is available on MAV TV and Lucas Oil Racing TV. You'll find MAV TV on Direct TV, Fubo TV, Fios by Verizon, or you can stream it through Lucas Oil Racing Television online. And they said I only had a face for podcasting.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.